Let's create and fix a vintage style book plate to the front cover of our journal using Tim Holtz products. Hello and welcome to the Treasured Page. I'm Melanie and this is our quiet crafting space. Today I want to have a look at this lovely silver oval book plate that I've acquired, and I'm wanting to see how I can fix it to the front cover of the French linen botanical journal. I would like to put a folding folio type pocket here, but before I do that I've just got to practice a couple of techniques and get my ideas flowing. So what I've got here is a stencil. This came from the Works for anybody in the UK. It was in a sale. I don't know if it was particularly brilliant value, but I did like the fact that it was a script stencil and I didn't have one. It comes from the lady who is on Dragon's Den, so I was pleased that there was a little bit of money off. You may find these in the Works on sale. So what I'm going to do, so let's just see if it's any good, because first impressions are that there are bits, plastic bits that haven't come away, so it looks to me like it's not great quality. So that Dragon Den lady. Right, anyway, let me find some washi tape and we'll just do a quick review. Tack it here just to keep it in place. Right, let's have a go at this. Using the, whatever this is, antique linen. I'll just see if I can get any sort of impression coming through. The reason I'm using the brush instead of the ink dauber is that this plastic is very thick and I'm just not convinced that the ink dauber would get through. Plus the edges are very sharp and I think that they would just rip through the sponge on this one. My other stencils that I've got, admittedly, are quite inexpensive. They're a lot thinner, so I think that actually the thinner ones, the cheaper ones, might be better. Let's see, if we get a really good impression, I might be a convert. Let's have a look. Right, okay. Well, actually, as a suggestion, as a hint, and that's, I've only used a very pale colour there. It's sort of okay. Right, keeping it in that position then, let's just change the colour. Not to white, but to... So I don't really want a high definition colour, I just want a suggestion because I still want that to be a writing space. So that might be enough. I'll just do a little bit with something else. Vintage photo, that sounds like what I want. Okay. It's just, oh, that's very dark. Okay, let's just go along. Oh, now it's moved. Just do a bit. Oh, that's better. Oh, that's fine. Okay, good. And a bit down there. Yeah, no idea what it says, but it's just a hint, isn't it? So that means I can just join that up. Do a bit more there then. Just a little suggestion. Okay. That's all right, that's fine. And then a bit over here. Great. That's it, that's fine. If I spray it with a shot of water, it may go paler. Okay, that's that. So that's okay. So actually, I don't mind that. That's quite a good stamp. Okay, so that's idea number one. So I want to fix that on, and the reason being I need it fixed on so that I can then cover this bit. So I want all the fixings hidden. So that's going to go there. The other thing that I've sort of noticed, well, I obviously knew it was there, is that the writing here is upside down and it slowly is starting to, I'm aware of it, so I'm starting to feel like I'm not happy with it being upside down, and I love that and I love all of this. But the fact that I now can, I don't know, it's just bothering me. So I've got this lace piece here. And I'm just thinking that fits in nicely. It brings a little bit of a feminine touch to it. But that's okay because we're talking about sewing and linen and cotton and botanicals, and it's got botanical images on it. So for all of those reasons, I'm going to have that. Okay, so just a little line of glue on there, and wherever I can see the glue would be hidden on those heavier embellished areas, and around here as well. And I apologise if you can hear the neighbour's dog barking. The dog seems to be a new addition to our area, and yep, we've never had a barking dog down here before, so I'm not sure if it's here to stay or if it's here to visit. But it is affecting my quiet crafting space. Good, I think they've let it out. Split pins, sometimes you get them. There we go, I've got two. Right, we're in business. So that's going to go through there, and I think that'll blend in enough, so that's okay. So that's how that's going to be. And then I need the little backing card, which I cut originally. That's going to be there. And all I'm going to have there, I was sort of thinking, what do I want? Well, I don't want it too fussy, so I'm just going to perhaps have a little bit of the script stamp there, and then just the date, this year's date, 2022, and just see if I can get an impression on there. Let's see if that works. Yes, that's plenty. Right, now I want to put the date on it, and I'm going to use my black Archival ink, so that's a permanent ink, it will not move under water or anything like that. And I'm going to use this rather cool stamp here. Okay, I have a piece of paper here just because I need to practice, make sure I've got it the right way up. That's perfect, so we're going to have that. Right, here goes nothing. I'm going to put that right in the middle. Great. Here's one. It's when you see the black image there, it's great because you can just sort of see how it might look and where you might want to line it up. So I like that berry top bit. But because we're dealing with the... Okay, so you have to go with the reverse. So all right, it's going to be like that then. And perhaps those could be on that side. And then... just very gently touch that on there. I like that. That's really great. And a little bit of leaf on the other side. Maybe stamp off first. Check I like it. And then see if the secondary stamp is better. Paler. No, that's too pale. Okay. Let's go again. Yes, and then I bet we can be a bit artistic with it, spin it around and just do a little bit on the top, coming in like that as well. Oh, that's great. Oh, I'm really pleased with that. That's lovely. Got my piece. So we could varnish it. We could use glossy accents. Nouveau drops. Nouveau crystal drops is what I use. That adds three-dimensional craft projects. So what I'm wanting to achieve is a nice shiny surface as if it has been enamelled. But my quickest method of doing that is to emboss it. There's two products for this that you could use. One is a distressed embossing dabber, where you take it off, you get a fibrous top, you go over it, cover it in the sticky product, and then you emboss that way. Or you could use the VersaMark watermark stamp pad, which you can just put the piece onto, get it covered in the sticky ink, and then emboss that way. This is my preferred method because I don't always get the right amount delivered, and what I've noticed is it clogs up. So this product has a specific purpose on my craft table where I take the lid off and I paint it directly onto products because I just find that it gets clogged up inside. So it has its purpose, it's a good product, but it doesn't necessarily do what I want it to do. Here are my distressed glazes. I've got antique linen, and I've got speckled egg. These are the ones I use probably most regularly. So if you're just considering embossing or distressing anything, the antique linen is a lovely one. It gives that nice aged effect, and the speckled egg is also a nice quality. Well, I've got a speckled sort of green tone going on there, so what I might do is start off with the antique linen, see what we think, and then if I want any green tone going on, I might bring that in, because I've got that colour on the front cover with the fabric. So I'm just going to rub that on there like that and make sure that it gets covered in the ink. Sort of, it's like a sticky glycerine product, I'm not really sure, but that's what we've got. So then what I'm doing is I'm tipping on the powder directly over the top of it, and for this you are going to need a heat gun, a heat tool. So these are all extra steps. If you haven't got this, then a swipe of PVA glue, leave it to dry, come back and do a second coat. Okay, so we're going to put that back in the tub. Well, it's pretty much covered it, so that's good. And I'm just going to shoot that back into the little tub. Okay, then we use the heat tool . It needs 2 coats, so we'll come back and do the second one in a minute. Okay, pretty good. It hasn't got it all round the edges, so I haven't quite got the product there. But as I said, we do need 2 to 3 coats. Repeating the process. An expensive product, but it lasts for a very long time. If you look after it, if you reuse it like I'm doing here, you obviously wouldn't want to shoot all of that in the bin, otherwise you'd only have 3 goes and you'd be done. Okay, so here we are. Because I had a ink effect on there anyway, which was a speckled green spray, I just cut that out of a piece of paper where I'd been spraying. It was just a scrap bit, so it had Oxide ink splattered on it anyway. There is a slight tinge of green to it. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but I'm quite happy. It's very old, very grungy, quite distressed in the sense that it looks old. So when you put the silver plaque over the top of it, the silver book plate, it just it looks quite sweet. I love that. That's okay. That's really nice. That conveys what I want to say. Everything's framed, and I'm going to put that directly onto the journal cover. I'm just putting the Fabri-Tac glue down. That's it. Alright, now we can see where it's going to be. I'm going to go over the back of the paper as well, and then that can all just sit nicely on here. So let's get that straight-ish where I want it. I think that will be fine. Alright, so that's how that's going to go. I'm going to turn it this way just so that I can get to it. And with my pokey tool, my awl, I'm just going to make some holes here so that I can put through those split pins. So right in the centre of that hole, I'll just give it a little wiggle, avoiding my fingers on the other side, and just push through as far as that will allow me. Okay, and the same here. I can quickly get the split pins in. Get those in before the glue sets completely. I'm able to pull my split pins open and push those down. And that is my, is that straight? There, that's pretty good, very good. Okay, so that's how that's looking. Very happy with that. And here, if you remember, is a little pocket for a ticket. So I will probably embellish a ticket to match in with that. I think that's quite nice. Yeah, I think we're okay. I might want something over there if I'm going to get fussy with it, but that colour is quite dark, so it might want something else somewhere just to pull that colour in. And I think it will be the tag will need to match up a bit with that. So that's a little idea there. I've just got that off of a clothing, so that's my idea for that ticket. Okay, just to recap on what we've been able to achieve. I've put the script stencil using the Tim Holtz Oxide inks over onto this page, which I think has given it a suggestion of the script writing. You can't read it, you cannot make out the words, but it's in a joined up writing, so for an aged point of view, an aged effect, it is really quite a nice way. If you can get hold of a script stencil, it's another little technique. You could achieve that with a stamp, but using the Oxide ink has given it a very nice worn look, and I think if I'd used a stark black ink I would have got a different effect. So we'll have a look at that in another video. But I'm not unhappy with the purchase, so if you can get hold of one of those, it's good. It's all right. It's pretty good. I'm happy with the effect that I've achieved there. Now the other one, the other day, we masked down the shiny page here, which was sort of a magazine style, like calendar paper, and it was very shiny. I've used pattern paper from a sewing pattern, and it is the unbleached paper that you get, and in the previous video you saw me putting down some watered down PVA glue and covering everything, and that has sealed in all of it. I sealed in the little label there. You can't quite read that out, but you get the date. It's quite nice. It's sort of like a veil of the tissue paper. It's just a lovely vintage quality. And then the butterfly there, that's all muted down as well. So the only thing I did was I went and I shut my page before I had let it dry. So I've achieved a bit of a, you know, I've upset the paper on here, but that's okay, because if I take my ink blending tool I can blend that out. I might even have enough on there just to buff it back up again, just give it a bit of an aged effect. So I always think that when you get a crinkle to anything, just go with it, just emphasize it. Takes away the modern look, so that's all right. And then similar effect down here, if I'm using the vintage linen, and you can just mask it down a little bit. So this is the antique linen, and it will just sort of put a mist over the top of it and take away any harsh dark black line, which I like, but I don't necessarily, I didn't want it that dark. I'm really very excited with this journal now, and this was one of the pieces here that we stamped originally with the black Archival ink, and what I'm taking from that is those colours, and I'm going to be using that idea, and especially now with the script in the back and the botanical image, I'd like to bring that forward to the front panel, which I am now going to make the video of. I couldn't do it until I had put in the book plate on the front. So this is all going to be covered now with a panel, and I'm going to try and attempt some clever pockets and a fold. So that will be the next video over this weekend. You'll see that tomorrow. And then I shall put I think I've just got some little tickets here. I'm just going to add that in there with a little gem crystal for the time being. And that's what how it's looking. So it's coming together, and we're quite chunky. It could very much have a closure there. It can be pulled round and hugged in. You perhaps wouldn't want that if you're going to put it in a bookshelf, so that was just an idea, but otherwise that will go in here and dangle down. It's always nice to have a few paper clips that are embellished, so I've got some more up here somewhere hiding. There's two there at the back nestled in there. We can move those along like that, and then have another one up there. Bring it up, and then it could be up there like that, so there's options. And so all of the videos are in the playlist for the French Linen Botanical Journal. You can have a look right from the beginning and see how we made the soft cover. There are many ways to make a journal. Every way is different, but this has the exposed binding, and it does have a break there. And that's only because we were using the materials that I had to hand at the time. I didn't have a file folder or something to wrap right the way round, but you could do that as well. So there's a really cool pocket on the back there, which is useful for me to add in there what it was. And I might even now I very much like the frayed edge here, but I have an option to bring that round there if I wanted to. Or leave it raw and rustic. And I think I like it. I like all the bits hanging off of it. Adds character and charm. It's quite a big folio folder, so we don't have to have, that's quite heavy. We can just add those in, just as a little nice look, if I put them around the right way. And then I think when I have a look at that tag idea, I will perhaps put the French Linen Botanical Journal and label it up, and that will be what it is. But yeah, so the next video is coming out very shortly, so I hope that you enjoy that. I hope that you found that was useful, just to have a look at how to put a book plate on the front. You can get hold of these in craft shops. They're certainly available online. I'll link as much as I can in the description below the products that I've used here. And if you would like to like and subscribe and follow along, that would be great, and you will see then how I intend to make a folding out folio pocket. So it'll be a large pocket that fits on here with folding out elements, which will hold things. I'm hoping it will hold yes, because this needs to go somewhere safe, because it's got my lovely pressed flowers in it, so I would like that to be tucked somewhere and not floating around the craft room. So if I can get that in there and folded and shut and safe, then it can come and live in the journal. Otherwise it can be on the back here where we've got a nice pocket there. So let's put that there for the time being, because that's nice and secure, and that can be in there. Everything I've made in this journal is available on the playlist, so I haven't done anything off camera. Alright guys, so thank you very much for joining me, and I will be back to show you how to do that inside folio, which you can then take forward as an idea for your next journal. We will be making a journal towards the end of the month, and there's definitely going to be some interesting things coming up in November. You can follow along with more stories, and we'll get into a real good project shortly. I've got my fall crafts coming up, and I've got a really good idea, so that's coming up, and I know you'll enjoy it. So stay tuned, and if you'd like to start following along with the autumn and fall crafts playlist, I will be adding things in there from next week. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and above everything else, just slow down and make crafting time for you. Bye bye now.